Hey there, health coaches. You know what? I realized this week I spend a sizable amount of time with all of you, also with the members of my Healthy Profit University, helping everybody build successful health coaching practices. So I thought it'd probably be interesting for you to hear a little bit about my own health coaching practice. It kind of goes on behind the scenes. I don't talk about it too much. But after all these years, yeah, I am still actively working as a health coach. So today, I'll share what I'm up to in my private practice, as well as give you a look at what the path was like to get where I am today, 12 years into being a health coach. So if you're here live, and I know some of you are, go ahead and say hello in the comments. Ask any questions you have as I go along. I'm an open book in case you haven't noticed. And I am looking for your comments. So don't be shy. They're going to pop right up here on my screen as long as the technology gods are on my side. And I'll be happy to answer anything that you're interested in. Most of all, like the coolest thing has been watching this industry grow, like explode and change over the past 12 years. So I want to share what those years have been like. And by the way, I have been hinting at this for a few weeks, but today I'm ready to open up the waitlist for this spring's Healthy Profit University Fast Track semester. If you've been waiting for this, go to healthcoachpower.com/waitlist and add yourself to the list. It's open. We're ready for you. There's no obligation, but by joining the waitlist, you will get behind the scenes sneak peeks as we go along, the best possible bonus package. It's a good deal. And if you're not familiar with what the heck I'm talking about, HPU's Fast Track semester is my course, Healthy Profit University, done live with me in real time over the course of 90 days with weekly live calls, a bunch of extra goodies that I cannot even tell you about yet. But the curriculum is all about getting you in motion, actually out there doing the work with my hand holding. It's just fabulous. So get yourself on the waitlist now at healthcoachpower.com/waitlist if you're not already on it, because I know a bunch of people already hopped on this morning. Whenever I talk about HPU, I have to remind myself that it really comes from, oh my goodness, years and years of lived experience as a health coach. Everything that I have learned along the way, things that I succeeded with, things that I failed miserably at. This is why I put together this course, which, my journey started way back in 2008, 2009. So back then, I was fresh faced out of health coaching school, and I actually had 8 paying clients by the time I graduated, which felt awesome because it meant that I had paid myself back for the tuition that I had invested, and I had gone to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Not only had I paid myself back, but, and then some, right? So I had a little extra in my account that felt like a really good place to be coming out of school. Back then, in case you're wondering what my practice looked like, it was very standard. I was offering the 6-month health coaching program, just like IIN taught us to do. I wasn't doing anything special or fancy or unique. I was just another graduate doing exactly what I was told. And I think I was charging $1,200 for the 6-month program in total, with meetings every other week, right? Very by the book. Now, in my memory, and of course, looking back, you always remember things a little bit different than they may have been. So at the time, I don't know what I would have said, but looking back, I'm like, wow, I really did have quite a steady stream of inquiries for private coaching. I was constantly signing new clients because, you know what? I was extremely active. I was holding workshops all over the place. I was running events. I was doing cooking classes out of my house. I made myself very, very visible in the community. And by the way, back then, we really didn't have much in the way of social media. So a lot of this was happening in person, face to face, which to this day is the most valuable kind of connections that you can make. So I can say I was doing that right. I probably could have been doing it smarter, more effectively, more strategically, but I was definitely out there being visible. So that is great. I had, to be honest, right? I had come from a career in big advertising. I used to be an art director at Arnold, which was one of the leading top biggest whatever ad agencies in New England at the time. So I knew a little something about how to advertise myself and advertise my services. But, and this is a big but, I really did not know how a small solopreneur coaching business worked. I had never done anything like this before. I had never run my own business before. And one thing that I know for certain was missing is that I was operating without a target market in mind, which is crazy talk to me now because even when I was working in advertising, there's always a target market. But somehow I just skipped over that. Like I know so many health coaches like to do. I skipped right over it. And what was happening is that with all of these events and things that I was doing, yes, I was attracting people. Yes, I was visible, but I was kind of accumulating this hodgepodge of people in my world, of names on my mailing list. And I distinctly remember that while, yes, I was booking consultations and I was signing clients, I had an awful lot of no shows at my consultations. I also remember doing, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but I was doing a lot of, first of all, full hour long free consultations with anyone who asked. I was just so pleased that somebody was interested in my services. I didn't ask any questions. I said, sure, we put it on the calendar. I would be there, and they wouldn't. What a waste of time and what a bummer. I think I remember that the most because that really kind of hurt my feelings, that someone would waste my time like that. Anyway, the other thing that would happen is that they would sign or show up, right? And it would just be an hour long session of them picking my brain with zero interest in actually signing up for my services. Has this happened to you? So I think I signed clients more by accident or despite my efforts, not because of anything that I was doing on purpose or doing well, which is pretty funny when I look back on it. So that's what I would call like a leak in the boat, a leak in your marketing boat. You're doing a lot of things right, but if you have a big leak like that, like I just was not getting the right people into consultations, I wasn't getting them to show up. I had no idea how to actually get the right people to sign up with me. There was a lot of spinning of my wheels, right? I could have been going further faster, but instead I was sort of treading water with this big leak in my boat. So that continued for a while as I then added another program to my offerings. I created my very own from scratch 21-day detox. This was back in 2010. So then it was a slightly different era and the word detox was hot, like on fire hot. Everybody was asking for it. So I created that program for them. And I remember that my detoxes, they were great. Those programs filled nicely. I had anywhere from 30 to, I think at one point I had 75 people in each of those programs with, relatively low effort. So that was cool. People were hot to join up for that. And I thought, wow, I really have it made in the shade. Maybe I was earning a couple $1,000s every time I ran a detox. And that felt really, really good. Felt like I was onto something. Now, in hindsight, I don't know how much that did for my business long term, although it felt very good at the time. I'll tell you what did do something for my business long term in ways I never could have predicted. All along the way, even before my first clients, even before I had graduated from IIM, I was blogging. Yeah, I was blogging every week, sometimes several times per week. I had a lot more time then than I do now, but I was blogging and I was sending consistent weekly emails to my mailing list. I was creating new recipes, right? I was generating a lot of content. Now, there wasn't really a lot in the way of social media at the time, like I mentioned, but I was creating all this stuff and I was sharing it with the tools that I had available. And people were paying attention because I was so consistent and because the content was pretty good, right? They followed me, they shared my stuff with their friends. So, all in all, there was an upward slope to how my business was growing. Not as fast as I wanted it to, but we were getting there. And then my son was born, my first. How many of you have had a baby while you've been trying to build your business? That'll put a wrench in your plans. And at that point, I realized that working with clients was just going to get tossed right out the window for a while because I did not have any childcare whatsoever. And it was in that year that after my first son was born, he's now 10. It's hard to believe. He's upstairs right now doing his homework, completely independent. But at the time, he was with me all the time, like attached to me. So I started leaning on affiliate marketing. I realized I have this mailing list of people who are interested in what I have to say. I have this blog following. I can't sell coaching to them, but I can do something with them. I could earn by referring them to products and services where I knew they were going to be served well, something that these people needed and wanted. I'm not just referring any old thing to my mailing list. I was quite particular about it. But with the products and the services that I knew they would love, why not make that referral and earn a percentage of the sale? And in that first year after my son was born, that's really where I put my attention rather than coaching. And I know I made tens of thousands of dollars just through those types of sales. That was eye-opening. I was able to earn this really good chunk of change working on my own time around the baby's nap schedule or while he was like literally in my lap. And so affiliate marketing is still an important part of my business model today. So I did want to share that. It hasn't just been a straight line from like 0 coaching clients to 1 to 2 to 10,000, and that's rarely how a health coaching business grows because there's a cap to how many private clients you can work with. So most practices really start to diversify their offerings and do things that generate income in a more scalable way. Meanwhile, this whole time, ever since I was in school, my peers, right, other health coaches were always asking for my help. They were like, "Hey, Michelle, how do I start a blog? Or how can I run a detox like yours?" I literally held classes for my fellow health coaches while I was still in school. I didn't even put their names on a mailing list. I didn't do anything with it. I just held these free classes in hopes that they would then leave me alone. Honest to God, that's how it all started. I was like, I'm a little annoyed. Like I'm trying to build my own business and everybody keeps asking me all these questions. Like I would try to answer them and I would try to answer them. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hold a class. Everybody show up on Tuesday and I'm going to teach you how to do this thing. And so that's how it all started. It was in my effort to kind of just give myself some time back because I was getting way too many inquiries. And I didn't have the mental space. I literally didn't have the space in my calendar to be giving away my knowledge and expertise like to 100 different health coaches. But finally, and I tell this story a lot, so apologies if you have heard it before. But finally, my first son had been born, and I heard from a friend of mine, a health coach friend, begging, like absolutely begging for help. And since it was a friend, I was honest and I said, you know what? I just can't. Like, I don't have time with the baby. I don't have time to do anything. This kid doesn't sleep. I have to push his stroller for like 4 hours a day so that he will nap. I really was too, you guys. I was walking the streets. Back then, we lived in Old Town Alexandria, right outside of Washington, D.C. And I walked for hours and hours and hours every day because I could not get him to sleep any other way. So I said, I can't do it. I can't help you. Sorry. Goodbye. And she said, "Please." And I said, "No, I really can't." I started to feel really bad. And then she said, "Well, what if I paid you?" And I said, "That's interesting, but no, I can't. I never know when I'm going to be free for a phone call, for like a proper coaching call." And she said, this was all via email, but back and forth. She said, "Well, what if I just kept emailing you?" And with that, a new income stream was born, one that I never intended at all. And I actively resisted for quite a while. Suddenly, within like months, a couple months, I had a roster of health coaching clients willing to pay me for emailing them while I pushed a stroller. Literally, that was the service. I would kind of hold my phone in one hand and type and kind of push the stroller with the other up and down the street a million times. All the neighbors probably thought I was crazy. But over time, of course, as they do, my son got bigger. My capacity for health coaching opened up again. I started several new online programs. I remember I started one that was all about eating for happiness. I think I called it Come On Eat Happy. That's a cute name, right? How to eat for mood, for a relief of depression and anxiety, and for better mood. That's one program I ran. What else did I do? I did something called Winning at Kitchen, which was fun. It was essentially like, here's a meal plan and let's all cook this food just for fun and talk about it. That was the whole program. That was like the whole premise. Again, I was not working with the target market in mind. I just knew I had a lot of moms who needed meal plans, and I decided it'd be fun if we all cooked together. It was successful though. It really was. People loved it. So that's what I was kind of doing as my time opened up again. I was still working with health coaches on the side. I even co-founded a group for mom healthpreneurs. Like I was busy. I was successful in all these different ventures. But it really wasn't until a couple of years later, when I got pregnant with my second son, who is also upstairs right now and also doing homework. They're really good boys. But I realized when I was pregnant with him, I was like, okay, I am spread entirely too thin. And I want to call that out because I see it happening with many of you. You're teaching yoga, you're running this program, you're trying to go after that opportunity, you're still working part-time at another job, you're taking care of your kids. It's COVID, whatever. It's very easy to become spread too thin. So I was like, sort of successful in all these different areas, but nothing was like catching fire and making me, that the millions that I, obviously was hoping that would happen one day. So I was spread entirely too thin. Please be careful of that potential pothole as you go along your journey. I needed to focus, and I needed to start earning at the next level as my family was growing. And I realized, you know, my family needs this kind of financial support. So that's when I kind of buckled the heck down. And Amanda is saying in the comments that she loved Winning at Kitchen. Amanda and I went to IIN together way back in the day. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, Winning at Kitchen was a really fun program. Oh my God, ages ago. Anyway, pregnant with my second baby, got my head on straight about what I wanted to actually accomplish with my business. That's when I raised my rates. I walked away from several projects. I walked away from a lot of things that I had become involved with. And I got a lot more intentional with my time, knowing that soon I was going to have a baby and a toddler. Now, I say I raised my rates. What I really did, and you can do this too, is I kept my rate, my package about the same, but I cut it down to 3 months instead of 6 months. So I was essentially doubling my rates, right? Because I was half as much time. And that was a way of being able to, not have to tell someone, oh, to work with me costs, thousands and thousands of dollars. I can keep the same rate I was at, but I cut back on the amount of time. And I realized that clients were still getting results within 3 months. So that's something to consider, you guys. If you feel weird about raising the number, the dollar amount on your rates, you can do it the other way, where you rejigger the time on the back end. Maybe you're meeting with people for 30 minutes or 45 minutes instead of an hour. Maybe you're doing 6 sessions instead of 12 sessions, whatever. Now, it was around that time that I noticed that all of my best clients, like I had lots of different clients, but the ones that I liked working with the best and the ones who seemed to be getting the best results. So that's what I mean by best clients. They had some things in common. They had some things in common with each other and also with me. All my best clients they were go-getters. They were type A women. If I asked them to complete a food diary, boom, they had it to me on a like perfectly laid out spreadsheet, color coded, that's like the type of woman that I was attracting and that I was really jiving with. And I noticed that they all had similar health issues related to chronic stress. So after many years in business, I finally started to hone in on a target market, and it was not easy. Like I'm telling you now, I resisted this with every ounce of my being, even though there really wasn't that much support back then for building your health coaching business. But there were like 2 or 3 people that were kind of acting in that capacity. And all of their advice was to choose a target market, as I am always advising you guys now. But I didn't know how. I didn't understand how I would use a target market. All I could see was, after like 5 or 6 years in the industry, this common thread between all of my best clients. So if you're in that position where you're resisting choosing a target market, like, I understand the reasons that you might be struggling and that you might be like, la, 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 fingers in my ears. I'm not going to do that. But I will tell you this. I wish I had done it sooner. I wish I had someone to better explain to me what I was going to do with the target market and how that would be different than if I didn't have a target market. And I talk about this all the time on the show, so we're not going to go too far into it today, but I will say this. Things started to fall into place, which was like, hallelujah. I was, even because of really knowing who I now wanted to serve and how I served them, I was better able to identify opportunities for myself where I needed more training. And I got that training, both business training in very specific areas that, I was missing, in actually learning more about health and wellness and nutrition. I did a Viva Roms functional medicine training that allowed me to raise my rates again, start getting better results for my clients. And I was like, I felt like I had hit my stride. I don't know if you can imagine this. If you're in the weeds like I was, I couldn't imagine a time where business would feel easy, but it was kind of starting to feel easy. Maybe not easy, but it was still a challenge, but there was a sense of ease around running my business and working with clients. And that was a welcome relief. Now, around that same time, that's when I created Healthy Profit University. So we are talking years up until this point. I had done work privately, groups, online groups, in-person groups, everything you can imagine as a health coach. And it was that years of experience in the field that allowed me to create a system, create a course that walks coaches through everything that they need to know at and this was so key, at a much more affordable cost than private business coaching. Because up until this point, people had been hiring me privately. Once I stopped pushing that stroller, then I was holding actual calls with health coaches who were paying me at, rates at which you would pay a private business coach. And sometimes it felt silly. Like, why am I repeating the same thing over and over to all of these brand new coaches? They all need the same thing, or everyone is missing the same piece, thing that they have to set up on their computer. Everybody is missing this one concept. And so I realized I could do this in a way that allowed me to reach more coaches, serve more coaches, and, it would be a win-win for them as well, because it would be less expensive than hiring my time. So it was really cool that all the lessons that I had been learning along the way as a health coach all kind of came together, and it went into the creation of Healthy Profit University. So these days, I'm going to tell you what my business looks like these days. These days, most of my time is dedicated to mentorship, to business coaching, to Healthy Profit University and the whole health coach power community. I do hold HPU twice per year as a live led fast track semester. And this spring is going to be like the biggest, juiciest curriculum that I have ever offered. I'm not even sure how I'm going to fit it all in yet, but I'm going to make it happen. Lots of opportunities for you to get in motion, start earning right away with my help. So if you're even the tiniest bit interested in joining us this spring, add your name to the waitlist. It's healthcoachpower.com/waitlist. People have been asking about this for a couple of months now, so here you go, have at it. And I'm soon going to be announcing more important dates as we get ready for that spring semester. But meanwhile, remember, I'm still running health coaching business over here. So these days, this is what it looks like. Last year, I was getting so busy that I said, you know what? the heck with this. I don't care if I don't even get any more clients. Like I'm so busy. I doubled my rates. One day I just went boom, doubled my rates. Same exact package, twice as much. And honestly, that didn't change anything. People still were signing up even through COVID. So I was like, okay, that didn't work to free up my time, but it was an interesting experiment. So, I've continued to work with a handful of private coaching clients. It's become, like I said, a smaller portion of my business, but a steady part of my income, a steady part of what goes on my calendar. In the past couple of months, I've decided I needed to be even more aggressive in protecting my time, right? I just cannot work privately with so many people and still be able to serve the number of people that I'm now reaching. So in the past couple of months, I've started to, number one, niche down even further. And I have my eyes on creating a scalable program, kind of like HPU, kind of the same thing. Can I reach more people with less of my time, and also allow more people to access my services with less of their money, right? So that way more people are getting the help that they need, and I'm actually able to serve everybody. That's the plan. So actually just this week on Monday, I kicked off a beta version of that new program. It's for women struggling with low thyroid symptoms, and I am very eagerly waiting to learn how it's going to go. That's how I approach things in my business. I'm like, okay, I think based on the information I have that this could be useful. This, might be something that people want and that will serve them well. Let me try it. Let me try it on a small scale. I'm going to see what works, see what doesn't work, and learn from it. Learn what people are attracted to, what keeps them from signing up. You can learn so much just by doing. So I want to encourage you guys to get out there imperfectly, offer your services. Don't wait for everything to be perfect and polished and shiny, because you'll wait forever. And then what if it doesn't work? Oh my God, you just wasted like a year of your life putting that thing together and nobody bought it. Don't do that. I put this together in a couple of weeks, and we're going to work out the kinks as we go along, but I'm really, really excited to be able to serve more women in the capacity that I've already been doing for so long, but making it easier for them, making it easier for me. That's really like the name of the game right now at this stage of my business, especially as more and more of my time goes towards serving all of you, health coaches. So I look forward to seeing lots of you on the wait list. If you have any questions about HPU's Fast Track semester, the very best place to ask is inside our Health Coach Power Community Facebook group, where I can answer your questions. HPU members are there. They can answer your questions. So in any case, that's the best place to reach out. Of course, you could also email us. I'll be back next week, right here, same time, same place, for another episode. Take care, everybody. I'll see you then.